Hello everyone. So today we are going to go ahead and plant up our front winter containers. Some of the front winter containers, which are going to be the bottom ones of where the stairs are, the front entrance. But first we're going to go ahead and show you the fall containers that we went ahead and showed on one of the last videos that we planted up. So let's go ahead and go up there so I can show you how they've been doing. They're already looking a little bit off. We're towards, the end of fall already. Winter's very close by here in Virginia, zone 7B. And, but I still want to show you because we still have some color up there. And the reason we love to have fall containers up there is to go ahead and stretch that fall color all the way till Thanksgiving. So here is the entrance, and here are the containers that we planted. As you can tell, we already got some good, really cold temperatures at nighttime. So we've been getting probably, 30 degrees at night, and during the day, 40 through 50s. We did have kind of days where there was like the 70s, 72 around there has been the highest. But here it is, and the grasses did amazing. They're already, ready to just be put away. Those are perennial. I'm trying to remember the name of those.
Prairie Winds, I believe.
Prairie Winds. And they just look so pretty. They have that little hint of purple in it still. And then there was a celosia that's already done. Celosia is done. And I didn't clean up anything. I just left it alone so y'all can see where we're at with, weather, how the weather is doing right now. And then the mums. We have the mums right there. I think Amber's wanted me to tell you about the potato vine. It's a goner. We did have the Sedona coleus, which, my goodness, we will be putting up the videos, pictures of that Ambrose had taken. That was, I think, my favorite coleus of this season, and I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and put it in for this year. As you can see, there's, a little bit of the mums have already, there's still tiny bit of color of mum. I feel like the cold weather hit us a little bit faster than usual. We're still getting used to, being new here to Virginia, to the weather, but it really seemed like this year it hit us a little bit sooner. As you can see, I have the violas, which that's my favorite flower. And I always say I feel so bad to say I have a favorite flower, but they are my favorite. And then this little yellow one right here is called a Gold Dust Mecardonia, if I'm correct. And my goodness, did I enjoy that one so very much. And that's the first time we've tried that plant. And I think it's one that we really want to try again. Because how we planted it late, it didn't get to, get as big as it should. But it did amazing. It's still giving a little bit of color. And then, of course, as you can see, the kale is still giving the color. The lantana is already on its way out. I did put, later on, I went ahead and put some of my fire sticks in there that I've had for a while. I brought it out. There's a little bit of the plants that I'm going to use soon that I tucked back there. And then let me move back so y'all can see the lemon coral sedum that I always like to put in there. My little bowls of lemon coral sedum that I always save at the end of the season. I always, whatever that I don't need in other containers, I bunch up all that lemon coral sedum and put them in little pots, and I use them later on, like right now, at the end of the season to decorate for fall, which I think it's a great idea to do with plants like that. And then we love to have thyme all the time by the front door. It smells so good. We have that rose Strawberry Hill that gave flowers not long ago. Pumpkins are actually still doing great. Maybe just a little tiny ones in the containers because of the moisture from the soil. And then on the side, as you can see, we have the hydrangeas, the limelight hydrangeas, and we have not cleaned the bottom of it yet. Those annuals were still blooming a little bit not long ago, but we did get cold weather, which did away with them. And let's get going with our winter containers that I'm so excited. As you can see, I have everything ready, set to go. A little peekaboo of what I'm thinking. I always love to go ahead and put things together to see how it's gonna look what theme what we're going for this time around. I'm gonna go ahead and still use the white containers this time around. I don't know why, I just fell in love. Last year we used them, and this year again in winter time, and I fell in love with them. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get ready to plant the containers, but first off, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what we have here. As you can see, I have my soil ready, my Spom organic soil. I do have my biotone, and I have a lot of violas and pansies, something that I love to have a lot around this time of year, all the way through winter and for springtime. So first off, it is already getting cold here. It is advised to plant, especially shrubs like this, evergreens, 6 weeks before your first frost. It already got cold here in 7B, but we've done this before, and we've always had good success with all the plantings that we do when we get to do things a little late. I think it actually, the shrubs or the evergreens do really well for us. Sometimes in our zone 7B, it can still be a little hot around Thanksgiving. And things just, they do really well. So that's why we don't mind doing things a little late with the evergreens, evergreen planting. So what we have here is Tater Tot from Proven Winners. It's a small arborvitae, and this one grows in a globular shape. So it's round and tidy, and that's the way it stays. You don't have to shape it. Its color is so beautiful, and because we don't have a lot of room in our garden, we have a very small garden. I love to see how we can bring in evergreens, especially if it's arborvitaes. That's just a favorite that we love so much, an evergreen. And I try to see how we can use them in our garden. So later on, we will be moving this one, which I'm happy that it can be also used in shade. This area here is full sun. It's a southern area, so all the plants will be full sun. But it's great to know that I'm able to move the Tater Tot Arborvitae later on, once winter is done, to the back. We can find a place in our shaded garden. I think it grows about 2 feet wide, so that's something good too. As I said, it's a very small, it's not a big arborvitae, and we'll go ahead and put up more of the info on here. And then I love to use Heuchera, and one of the things that I notice is that Heuchera does very well here for us in the containers. It's unlikely to disappear around. It's a perennial for us here in evergreen, but sometimes when it's in the ground, it does seem to disappear. But the ones that we have in containers, they do really well. So this time, I wanted to try something different. And this one is called Frosted Violet. It has a little bit of purple and a little bit of the green in there, and the leaves are a little bit more smaller, and it should bloom around springtime and with pink little flowers, the little spikes that it brings out. I do have some Dusty Miller here. It can take some of the frost, some of the first frost here in our zone. It's actually toughed it out really well. I wasn't sure of using it, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it until it does well for us. On this side, I have juniper, and this is blue Star Juniper. And we've always loved to use the juniper in containers. It's another way to, like I said, to use an evergreen for, to show off around this time of year in a container, and then later on find a way to use it in the landscape. We're playing around with the idea of using junipers in the garden for, for next year. So we'll see if these guys, make it in the garden in another area that we're planning to use. Then, of course, I have my violas. I was thinking of using another color, but I don't know. This year, I really want to keep it very simple. Okay, so I've already, before we did the video, what was it? Like a couple of days ago, we went ahead and cleaned out the container. We had dahlias in here. We actually had, what was it? What was it called? I'm asking Ambrose.
Mystic Illusion.
Mystic Illusion dahlia. It was beautiful, and we took it out, and we are saving the tubers. We'll see. I don't know if we're gonna keep. I don't know yet. I don't know if we're gonna keep them. We don't have a lot of room here in the garden. Maybe pass them on to somebody else. But I'm fluffing this up. I'm going to keep the same soil here. I just cleaned out the top of it, and coming next, spring, we'll go ahead and use the whole pot. Will get new soil. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and spread the biotone gonna go ahead and start. And so I'll just refresh a little bit with the potting soil, the top at the end. Super happy with the way the container came out. I love it. This is what we were going for. I've been thinking about it all through this time since fall, wondering what we were gonna do. And I don't know, it just came out the way we wanted to. I wanted to keep it super simple this time around. We're gonna go ahead and close out the video here. We are gonna clean it up and finish the second container. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about it before we finish the video. So I don't know if I mentioned that the Tater Tot Arborvitae is code Hardy 327, which that is really, really good because out here is exposed to everything in this area. There's nothing to protect it. And most of the evergreens that I always get, I try to make sure that always that they're below our zone. And this one's way below our zone. Like I said, we're 7B, so it's perfect for here. There's no harm for it at all. Now, there is a little bit of brown on it, and I did use a Dusty Miller to cover it up. The brown on arborvitaes can mean a lot of things, and later we'll do a video over that. In this case, it means that it's shedding. Some of the arborvitae varieties do shed around fall time. They start to shed, and you'll see a little bit of brown on there. But this one doesn't have too much of it. I'm okay with that. So that's it. I think that's it. I'm happy. Ambrose is happy with the way. Are you happy with the way it came out? He loves it. He also wanted something very toned down. I did want to add a little bit of yellow in there, and then I decided not to. The little violas do have a little bit of yellow already there, and I'm going to save the rest of them, and I'll do something with more color up there later on. Have any questions, like always, go ahead and ask on the comments down below, or go ahead and see us on Instagram or Facebook. You'll always be able to find us there, and you can ask any questions too about gardening, and y'all can see what we're doing all the time out here in the garden daily. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you. Goodbye. One thing to always remember before we go, because it's very, very important, is how to water around this time of year. And I'm completely forgetting to tell you how to water right now. So before the soil freezes, go ahead and water them. Make sure that your soil is moist, that the potting soil is moist. They're going to need the water, especially the evergreen. So go ahead and water and make sure that the soil is always moist. Come and check it. I always use my finger down, 2 inches at least. Put your finger into the soil and make sure that it's moist. I usually water every maybe 2 days if it doesn't rain around here. Honestly, guys, I haven't been having to water at all because we get quite a bit of rain here. So that's it. I just wanted to let y'all know, do not forget to water even though it's cold. If your ground hasn't frozen, go ahead and give them water.